Big news out of Evanston yesterday. Northwestern removing the interim tag from David Braun's title. He is the permanent successor to Pat Fitzgerald. The 38-year-old Braun came to Evanston as the DC in January, had never coached at the FBS level, got thrust into the interim spot and flourished, leading the Cats to 5 wins thus far, one more than they had in the past 2 seasons combined. Welcome in to our news conference coverage. Dave Revson and Jake Butt with you. We're going to get you out to Evanston in just a bit. David Braun again set to be introduced as Northwestern's new head coach. The announcement was made to the team yesterday. They issued a press release yesterday as well. But here we get to hear and see Braun for the first time in that capacity. Hear some answers from him as well. You've spent some time around him. What stands out, Jake, when you think about David Braun?
Just the character of Coach Braun and the leadership he's exemplified, even going back to Big Ten media days and kind of thrown into an impossible situation. And then, you know, of course, our focus as media members was on everything about football. It was about everything else. And he said, still, we're going to compete together. We're going to do what we need to do. And then he's delivered on that promise. I think the video of the team reacting to the news yesterday shows you everything you need to know about how they feel about having David Braun as their head coach today and in the future.
Yeah, I think a lot of this was driven, frankly, by the players. You could see they're getting ready there in Evanston. Michael Schill, the president of the university, Derek Ragg, the athletic director, seated at the table there. So we'll get you out there as soon as the program starts. But again, the players drove a lot of this. I mean, there was a hashtag to remove the tag, meaning the interim tag, and all of the players got involved after the Wisconsin game. And they really rallied behind David Braun. I mean, this was a really difficult situation at Northwestern. You lose the guy that you came to play for in Pat Fitzgerald. Now they have someone new who the defensive players knew a little bit. I mean, he'd been there since January, was there for spring practice. The offensive players didn't know him at all. And yet he has seemingly had this amazing ability to really galvanize the group here, Jake, and get everyone to rally behind him. And they have played really well. I mean, let's just be honest. This was a non-competitive football team a year ago, and they have been extremely competitive this year.
Not every team can sit there and say we have a chance to play in a bowl game, and yet everything you just said, Dave, here they are right now, 1 win away from a bowl game. 2
games left. Let's head out to Evanston and listen in.
Northwestern University President Michael Schill, followed by Vice President for Athletics and Recreation, Dr. Derek Ragg, followed by the Dan and Susan Jones family, head football coach David Braun. We will hold a brief photo opportunity later, and after that, members of the media in attendance will have the opportunity to ask questions. It is my great honor to introduce Northwestern President Michael Schill.
Thank you, Sean, and thank you all for being here today. I am so happy to be celebrating the news that all of you have seen by now, that effective immediately, former interim head coach David Braun will become the Dan and Susan Jones head football coach of the Northwestern Wildcats. Now, I have been lucky to spend some time getting to know David personally over the past few months since he took over under incredibly challenging situations and conditions. I walk away from each of our conversations incredibly impressed with his poise, his thoughtfulness, his passion, and most importantly, his deep commitment to the student athletes that he coaches. I have been very clear that at Northwestern, the well-being of our students comes first. It is only by prioritizing our students' health, safety, and well-being
We have unfortunately lost the audio, as you could hear there from Evanston, as Michael Schill was addressing the media. We're obviously going to try to rectify that as soon as we can, get you back out there to listen in as David Braun is announced as the 30th football coach in Northwestern history. Braun has been serving as the interim head coach since back in July when Pat Fitzgerald was let go in the wake of an investigation into hazing within the football program. Here's what has happened since Braun took over in that spot, going 5-5 this year. You compare it to the last 2 years under Fitzgerald, where Northwestern was just dreadful, going 4-20, 2-16 in the conference. So they have exceeded not just the conference win total from the past 2 years, but the overall win total as well. Part of the improvement has been defensively, and Braun, of course, overseeing that defense as the defensive coordinator. They've cut down by about 6 points per game on what they allowed from last year. And then the other thing is turnovers, as they led all of the Power Five in turnovers a season ago and have cut down on that dramatically this year. Here is the meteoric rise of David Braun. He was born in Lake Forest, Illinois, not far at all from the Northwestern campus, but was raised in Wisconsin. Went to college at Winona State and then started as a GA there before rising through the ranks in Division II and the FCS. You see, Northern Iowa was the defensive line coach there and then coached the outside linebacker. So 5 years ago, this guy was the special teams coordinator and outside linebackers coach at Northern Iowa. And now he is a head coach in the Big Ten. Went to North Dakota State, of course, a powerhouse program where he's part of a national championship team, became the defensive coordinator and safeties coach there, and then came to Northwestern in 2023 ostensibly to fix that defense that had fallen so far in the previous 2 years after the retirement of Mike Hankwitz. Took over as the defensive coordinator in January, went through spring practice, and then when everything went down in July, he was tabbed as the man to serve as the interim. And again, has done an incredible job. The players have really rallied around him. They all took to social media after that win over Wisconsin this weekend, urging Northwestern to do exactly what it chose to do yesterday, and that was remove the interim tag from David Braun. And this was the moment where Northwestern made it public as they tweeted out that David Braun had been named the head football coach at Northwestern. Terms of the contract have not been disclosed, not clear whether they will be. Northwestern doesn't necessarily have to do that as a private school, but David Braun is the head coach for Northwestern going forward for the foreseeable future. Really an unlikely story for a guy who is 38 years old. And again, before this year, he had never coached at the FBS level in any capacity, and he is now Northwestern's head coach. They are working on trying to fix the audio issues that have reared their ugly head in Evanston. We're going to take a quick break and hoping to get you this news conference coming up here momentarily. Northwestern announcing yesterday that David Braun is its permanent head football coach. Braun led the Wildcats to a 5-5 record to this point in the season as the school's interim. We've been having audio issues in Evanston. They are restored to a certain extent. Let's listen in on Athletic Director Derek Gregg.
The NCAA championship appearances in men's and women's golf, cross country, and men's tennis. We also expect our student athletes to give back to the community, especially to the little people who aspire to be like them. We expect them to take advantage of all the support services we have to prepare to build a meaningful career. And then, lastly, and probably most importantly, we expect them to be upstanding students, citizens who uphold and follow the university, Big Ten, and NCAA rules and regulations. So I definitely feel that Coach Braun embraces and reinforces all of these things. He's shown tremendous leadership under these adverse circumstances, and he embodies the values of our athletics department, which are respect, integrity, service, and excellence. Since Coach Braun's arrival last year, I have watched and observed him. I sit upstairs at football games so I can see everything. I don't like to be on the sidelines. I like to watch as a football guy myself. I watch his interaction with the players and the coaches. I look at his body language, the body language of the players, how the team is reacting to him and everybody else. I listen to his post-game messages to the team in the locker room, win or lose. I attend post-game press conferences, and I can tell you that, without a doubt, Coach Braun is a winner on and off the field. The student-athletes have rallied around him. They've been supportive both behind the scenes with me, but also publicly. And I'm going to tell you, the "We Want Braun" chant in the locker room after Wisconsin was deafening. And as I told them yesterday, we want Braun also. So please direct your attention to the video board behind you. We have a video featuring our newest head coach.
I look at David Braun and what he's done at Northwestern.
All the goals and aspirations that this group has for themselves, the story that they hope to write, all that's still right in front of them.
Now we're sitting here with a team that's staring a bowl game down right now. Like, he is the coach of the year. Like, that's the only right answer.
Start with great process, great communication, everyone on the same page. This will come down to who wants it more.
It's obviously not able to show you the video right now in Evanston, but Northwestern in the process of introducing David Braun as its new head coach. As soon as the video is over and Braun is brought to the podium, we'll get you back out there here on the Big Ten Network. Again, Braun brought in to be the defensive coordinator at Northwestern, became the interim head coach back in July, and has led this team to a remarkable season, certainly considering the circumstances. Northwestern 5-5 on the year. They have games remaining, a couple coming up here, one against Purdue this weekend, and then they finish up against Illinois. They need to win one of those in order to make it to a bowl. Let's head back to Evanston and listen in on David Braun.
I want to start off by thanking a few people. First off, to President Schill, Dr. Gregg, the search committee, the board of trustees here at Northwestern, and Glenn Sugiyama with DHR Global. Thank you for believing in me and my family. This is an opportunity that we don't take lightly. To be honest with you, an opportunity that, as a young coach, could have only dreamt of. Never to truly, maybe wrap my head around that it would truly be an opportunity, and is a credit to your willingness to see beyond maybe what a resume says, and look to what you believe myself and our family can do leading this group moving forward. So thank you for your belief in me. I want to thank my wife Kristen, our two boys, Lucas and Andrew, and our little girl Blake. Thank you for not just the last few months, but for the last 10 years. All of us in the room that are coaches understand, all of us involved in athletics understand that being a coach's wife, being a coach's family is something that is not easy and requires a great deal of sacrifice. When this transition occurred over the course of the summer months, I'm looking at my wife with, 8 months pregnant, little girl soon to be arriving, and we talk as a team all the time about not flinching. Kristen Braun never flinched. Kristen Braun continued to be the rock that I've known her to be the entire time I've known her, and there's no way that we do this as a family without you. So thank you. Thank you to our players. You guys are, words won't do it justice. Words won't do it justice. I was fortunate to coach at North Dakota State for a long time and work with an incredible group of young men. To be honest with you, one of the hardest things about leaving Fargo was leaving that group of people. And I didn't know, what it would be like showing up at a Big Ten institution at a place that has a tremendous tradition and something that I had admired from afar for a long, long time. But I immediately was blown away with the quality of young men that make up this program. And the relationships that, you've allowed us to build is something that I absolutely cherish. I'll be very clear. Myself and our family know that the opportunity that exists for our family only exists because of you guys. And your willingness to buy in and galvanize and come together and really embody what this football program is all about. And you've done that from day one in July, throughout the remainder of our summer workouts into fall camp, and never once cared what anyone on the outside said about you. You just continued to believe in yourself as individuals, yourself collectively, continued to battle, and as we all know, the mission isn't done yet. We got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of work to do, and there's no other group in the country that I'd rather be doing it with. So thank you. I want to thank our coaches, our staff, our support staff, our athletic department, other coaches within this athletic department and program. Character is revealed in difficult times. I've been fortunate to be a part of a staff that got let go. When I was at UC Davis, I've been fortunate enough to be part of staffs that have won conference championships, national championships, reached the so-called pinnacle of a season, and you quickly realize that true character is revealed in the hard times. And I want to speak to our coaches, our staff, and thank them for the way that they've navigated all this. They've rooted back into their purpose. Their purpose being the young men that sit here today, our team. They've poured themselves into these guys. They've coached them hard. They've mentored them. They've been there for them. And it's pretty neat to see the byproduct of that showing up on the field every Saturday. So thank you to our staff, coaches, and everyone in the athletic department. There's a really neat opportunity for this football program moving forward. And we won't get too much into that today, because all I really care about, honestly, is having a great Thursday and beating Purdue. But the Big Ten is evolving. College football is evolving. So you better know who you are. You better know who you are as a university. You better know who you are as an athletic department. You better know who you are as a football program. And the thing that I'll tell you is we will prioritize the student-athlete experience first off and foremost. In every decision we make, the question will be asked, well, how does this affect the young men that are part of our program? Secondly, we're going to root into and double down on being a developmental program. Don't care what a young man, how many stars he has next to his name. We want to find out, does he value a Northwestern degree? And what that brings not only to his short term, but what that brings to his opportunities 4 years, 40 years down the road. What's his character? What's his competitive spirit? Is he a team-first guy? Does he model so many of the things that this group models every single day? And then we're going to do everything in our power to ensure that we provide the resources, the coaches, whatever it may be, the mentorship to ensure that the young men that decide to come to Northwestern, decide to continue to be a part of Northwestern football, have the opportunity to reach their full potential. And when they reach their full potential holistically, academically, socially, physically, athletically, spiritually, amazing things happen. The wins naturally come. We can sit up here and talk about winning Big Ten championships all we want, but if we don't do the little things in recruiting the right young men to our program, and then put into place the things that we need to do every single day to achieve those goals, then they're just words. And again, you want to talk about the character of a team? All you got to do is look at this group right now. That's been part of this institution for a long, long time, and a part of this football program for a long, long time. Recruiting high character young men that value a Northwestern degree, that love to compete at the highest level of college football. And so excited for what that has the ability to do in differentiating ourselves moving forward in a changing college football landscape. We have the opportunity to root right back into that and out-team everybody in the country. And you can see it tangibly right now what's going on with this team, and I can't wait for that process to continue. And then lastly, the commitment that I'll make to everyone within our program, and it's the same commitment that I made months ago, given an opportunity to take over this role on an interim basis. If anything, these last few months have clarified for Kristen and I is why we do what we do. We got into this to have a positive impact on young people. So moving forward, I'm here to support our student athletes. We're here to serve our student athletes, and we're here to push them to be the absolute best that they can be. Now on to the important stuff. We're guaranteed 2 more opportunities. So as much as there'll be some questions to answer, I can't wait to get off of this stage, get back to work with this staff, get back to work with this group of young men, and make sure that we are at our absolute best at 11 o'clock on Saturday to make sure we accomplish the mission that this group set out to do months ago. Thank you. Go Cats.
Thank you, Coach Braun. We'll take some questions now. I'd ask that you state your name and outlet. We do have wireless microphones with 2 of our teammates. We will deliver them right to your seats so that everyone can hear your question. We'll start up. Dave Bennett with the first question.
Coach, congratulations, first of all. 2 questions. First of all, what did it mean to you personally to have these guys go to bat for you the way they did? Had you ever had anything like that before in your career? And secondly, how'd you celebrate given that it was a Wednesday of a game week?
Yeah, that's the support from our guys is Dave, you're going to make me emotional with this question, man. Means it's why we do what we do for these guys, you know, and for them to show that support. And it wasn't just in the locker room after Madison. It's the way that these guys have showed up every single day. I remember an opportunity back in July where voices were heard in terms of, you know, guys speaking up. And to know that they believe in me, they believe in this staff, they believe in what we're doing, means everything to me, means everything to our family. And, you know, in terms of a Wednesday celebrating, there honestly wasn't much celebration other than, you know, getting ready for Purdue. But there's certainly moments back at home with Kristen and the boys. I think the biggest celebration, honestly, Dave, came from Lucas and Andrew. So Dad, this means we're not moving. Yeah, guys, we're not moving. Our family loves it here. We're honored to be a part of this community, and excited for all that is ahead.
Thanks, Dave. Go to Bradley next.
Coach Bradley Locker, inside NU. Can you walk us through when you found out you would have been Northwestern's interim coach? I think it was July 10th or 13th, what those conversations looked like, and kind of when it crystallized for you that you wanted to be a head coach in the first place. Yeah. To be honest with you, there was so much going on back in July. You know, there was conversations with our administration, and, you know, I think it started off with, you know, would you have interest, Dave? And I said, absolutely, an opportunity to lead this group would be something that I'd be honored to do. Don't know if it was something I was excited about. There was a lot of emotions going on at that time, but honored to have an opportunity to be with these guys. And the thing that I've learned, Bradley, is, you know, being a head coach, there's this tremendous opportunity to have an impact on everyone within the program, our student athletes, our staff. And, you know, sometimes you miss the X's and O's. Sometimes you don't look forward to,
administrative things that you're navigating, but our support staff has done such a tremendous job of taking some of those things off of my plate, allowing me to root into football and spend time with our guys. I think there was a moment, even in fall camp, where it started to click for me that the opportunity to be a head coach is something that is not to take lightly, and something that, I looked forward to at some point, not knowing when that opportunity would come.
Thanks, Bradley. We'll go to Matt next.
Coach Matt Shelton with Wildcat Report. Seems like for administration, the decision came after the win against Wisconsin. Was there what was the moment for you this year where you realized or thought that you would become the head coach?
I don't know. That's a great question. The thing that I committed myself to, our family committed ourselves to, is we were just going to move in a way that we were going to make decisions that, we're going to put our student athletes at the forefront of every decision we made. And when there's talk of, potentially having an opportunity to become the long-term head coach, it can be really easy to allow yourself to go to this space of, what decisions do I need to make to get this job? And that's something that I think my wife and I were very, intentional about, making sure that we didn't let our mind go to that place. So call me crazy, call me stubborn, but it was like, wake up each morning, what do I need to do today to help this team get ready for the next game and tune out all the noise? So it honestly probably didn't become, a reality until midweek this week, when all of a sudden it started to become real, the conversations that I was having.
Thanks, Matt. We'll go to David next.
Dr. Gregg, this is for you, David Gold, Inside in You. Throughout this point in the search, when did you realize that Coach Braun was the best fit for this job and turn to him to start contract negotiations?
That's a good question. Actually, Coach Braun has basically been interviewing for this job every week. And so we've all seen it, the growth on and off the field, the way he's handled himself. And not to dwell too much on July, but none of us have experienced anything like this. Been doing this 30 years. And so just the way that he's led the program, kept it together, and then the results started to come. So the timing of it, we've had many conversations, the president and myself, and we got to a point to where we wanted to start talking about relieving the pressure of what Coach is mentioning. We didn't want the guys to feel like they had to win a certain number of games to get to a certain threshold. So we've been talking about this all season. And he's had a great deal of support, not just from us, but a lot of people. You don't make these decisions. I made the decision, but I had a lot of people to consult with. And what feels good about this decision is 100% of the people that we've been dealing with are behind us on this.
Thanks, David. We'll go to Adam next.
Yeah, Adam Rittenberg with ESPN. Congrats, Dave. I know you're in the moment, but what questions did you have about the future, stadium, leadership, so forth, and what was your plans to get the program continue to move forward in the future here?
Yeah, I think there's, in the world of the transfer portal, things are just so different, as you know, Adam. Some of the questions of what that looks like institutionally and how we navigate that. The Ryan family has been incredible, just expressing their support and unwavering support and moving forward with, their presence around our program, their support for our program, their support for our student athletes, even before the conversations got serious. I mean, even going back to August, the support from the Ryan family has been really impressive. I think what we need to continue to look at, again, we need to be the ultimate developmental program in the country, and then we need to do a great job of retaining our student athletes. Why do you come to Northwestern? For an opportunity to earn a world-class degree. That'll change the rest of your life. And in the world of NIL and transfer portal, we need to do a great job of recruiting young men that fit our profile and are great fits here at Northwestern, that want to compete and want to play their best football at Northwestern before whatever the outlook looks like post Northwestern. But there needs to be conversations on what that looks like in an ever-changing landscape of NIL and transfer portal. And, as a coach, you can't be involved in that NIL, but I feel very confident that there's alignment within the Northwestern, community and within our athletic department and the stakeholders that are involved to make sure that we do just that. We recruit high-quality student athletes that are great fits for Northwestern. We do a phenomenal job of helping those student athletes develop to their absolute best holistically, and then we have things in place to ensure that we retain those young men to be a part of our program and play their best football while earning their degree at Northwestern.
Thanks, Adam. We'll go to Lawrence next.
Hey, Coach. Congrats again, Lawrence Price for the Daily Northwestern. For you, when you started coaching, even just going back to graduate assistant at Winona State, what was your vision? What did you, was this the expectation or was this the goal to have this position that you have now? Or, what was just the vision and mindset for you?
I wanted to be a head coach at a Big Ten institution. I mean, that was my dream. And as a young coach, I probably spent too much time chasing the dream rather than just really rooting into what's my purpose? Why am I doing this? Why as a family are we doing this? And what you start to realize, I think one of the greatest gifts I've ever earned is an opportunity to win a national championship at North Dakota State. And what you learn through that, yes, euphoric. I mean, incredible. Hope to experience it again. Don't get me wrong. But you quickly realize that 3 days after that experience, it's not like all is right with the world. It's not like you're all of a sudden fulfilled completely. You better know your purpose. And I think I've become a better coach, and the opportunities that have been provided to myself and my family have been a result of just walking in purpose, operating in purpose, and knowing why we're doing what we're doing. So to be doing this was the dream. There's no doubt about it. It's still surreal. It probably won't completely sink in for a long, long time. But whether you're doing this at Northwestern or Culver Stockton College, when you decide to coach college football, you have an incredible opportunity to have a positive impact on young people. And when I got that figured out, I think that's where I started to become my best.
We're going to take two more. Thanks, Lawrence. We'll go to Ethan next.
Ethan Siegel, Inside on You. Coach, first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's been a whirlwind few months for you, of course, being thrust into the position in July, welcoming another child shortly after, and of course, coaching the season, and now being named the full-time head coach. What have you learned about yourself throughout the process, and in many ways, how does that help you as a coach going forward?
That's a great question. I don't know what I've learned about myself. You'd have to ask Kristen, the guys, our coaches. They can probably give you a better answer. What I can tell you is, I'm at my best when I'm rooted in my purpose, when I'm rooted in my faith, when I'm staying prayed up, and when I know who I ultimately answer to. And that's my God. That's my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's when I'm at my best. Walking in freedom, man, and it's hard to find that time to root into that when there's a lot going on around, but I've learned that that's something that's critical to my walk for me to be at my best to serve these guys.
Thanks, Ethan. We'll wrap up with Louis.
Hey, Coach. Congratulations. Louis Vicaire with Wildcat Report. When you took over the job in July, if you had wanted to make changes, you didn't really have any time, and you were in this kind of limbo as the interim. So now that you're the permanent head coach, what does a David Braun program look like? What are some things you can do, to put your stamp on this program?
I think we've had a similar conversation about, the defense when I first arrived here. And, I'll come back to a similar answer. It's not about putting my stamp on it. At the end of the day, it's not my program. It's Northwestern's program. It's our players' program. And, I'm going to walk into this facility each and every day with their best interest at the forefront of my mind. And what's in their best interest right now is making sure that we're completely focused on Purdue and finishing the mission that this team set out to achieve. And those other things long term, those are things we'll worry about when we get there. But what this team, this group of student athletes, this coaching staff, the support staff has embodied this year is nothing short of an incredibly impressive. And it only happens with us being in lockstep and working our tails off together. So to answer your question, I don't know. But what I will tell you, with conviction is I'm not looking to put my own stamp on it. I'm just looking to make the next right decision that's in the best interest of our student athletes.
We wanted to thank everybody for coming out this afternoon. Go Cats.
Okay.
So David Braun introduced as the new head coach of the Northwestern Wildcats. You can add a line to that resume. Now the head coach of the Cats after quite a rise. Again, was the defensive coordinator at North Dakota State National Championship program for the past 4 years. You can see Braun and the Wildcats in action, part of a huge Saturday here on the Big Ten Network. It gets started with that game between Purdue and Northwestern at noon Eastern time, also Michigan State and Indiana. And then at 4 Eastern, we have the number 2 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, on our air, taking on Minnesota. That's going to do it for us, obviously, continuing coverage of all the games heading into this weekend here on the Big Ten Network. Don't forget Tailgate, originating live from Columbus this weekend as well. Thanks so much for watching here on the Big Ten Network. I'm Dave Refson. Have a great day.